People get ready. There's a train that's coming. Don't need no baggage. You just get on board. Toot toot. If for those that are not watching, Jackie's Rapture game is unimpeachable. It's just absolutely unmatchable, unmatched. It's fabulous. Two.
One. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Read This, Read That. I am Jackie Reed.
I'm a Petty Joanne Reed.
Petty B. Petty J.
Davis.
Petty B.
Petty Boop.
I love it. Listen, I cannot get this song out of my head. When we met, always knew I would feel the magic for you. On my mind. Constantly in my arms where
you should be. I love you here by me, baby. You let my love fly free. I want you in my life for all time.
Friday.
Come on.
I'm caught up in the rapture of love. And this is when we ascend to heaven.
Nothing else can compare. Caught up in the magic of you. Yes, y'all, it's Rapture Day. Happy Rapture! By the time this goes up, the Rapture's going to be over. Why are we still here?
Girl, Jesus done left us behind. Girl, I don't have my fire. I need a fireproof jacket or something.
I'm like, how the Rapture going to happen and leave us behind? Us godly and God-fearing as we are.
Girl, how the fuck they going to leave us behind?
Come on, Jesus. You got some explaining to do.
Come on, Jesus.
You can't rapture without the cousins. What?
Girl. Well, we're going to talk about the rapture. We're going to talk about so many things today. Jimmy Kimmel. So many things going on today that we are going to Tylenol. Throw out your Tylenol.
Don't take that Tylenol if you're pregnant.
And a big interview that my sister, cousin, you feel like I've been drinking already. My sister, cousin, soror friend over here, Camille, we never got it right, has a big interview she has that will air tonight at the time of this recording, but this won't post until Thursday, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Yeah. So many things going on. But first, as we do here on Read This, Read That, we going to wind down. I'm going to go first because your wind down is, I got so many things to ask you. It's going to be like an interview of you by me.
Yes.
I'll start. Two things. We definitely want to thank all of our friends, our cousin, the Cousin Nation.
The Cousin Nation.
60,000 on YouTube. And so we are so excited about that. Thank you for the love and support because we are independent media. Our little talk show, Read This, Read That, choo-choo, is just moving right along and just growing. And we appreciate the Cousin Nation. And I actually met a cousin in the grocery store the other day. I told you about this, Joanne, but let me tell the rest of the family.
Yes.
So I was shopping with my sister at Kroger and trying to get some things. Mm-hmm. And this young man came up to us and he had a Georgia Tech t-shirt on. We were in the Georgia Tech area, so I only assume he was a student. He looked like he was that young. And he came up and just came up to me and said, "Oh my God, I love your podcast." And I was like, "Oh my God." He was like, "I love you and Joy Reid." I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And he said, "Can I take a picture?" And I made this look like, because, okay, for those of you who have been following along on the podcast, I'm going through a process with my hair. Yeah, I got my little puff on today, but when I'm out and not doing anything on camera, I'm really trying out a lot of different hairstyles. So on this day, I was doing that. So it wasn't cute. But anyway, he asked me for a photo, but before I could say yes or no, he stopped himself and said, "You know what? Wait a minute. You are minding your business, enjoying your personal time." He said, "And you look amazing," which I didn't, but it was nice of him. It was kind of him to say that because I look crazy. He was like, "You look amazing, but you know what? I'm going to let you go on about your business and have your day. But I just love your show so much. I love the show so much," because he was acknowledging you and I. He's like, "I love the show so much." And he walked away.
That's how you know that he really does listen to this podcast. Because had he just gone through and asked for the, then you know he wasn't really a cousin. That's how we know he's a real, authentic cousin.
Yes.
He sure did. He did the thing.
He did the thing. He let me have my moment when I was trying to run and, grab things in a grocery store, grocery shopping,
Yeah.
It is
so
what
good. Respectful. I love that.
Respectful young man. And he was young and respectful, which I love because it means the young folks are listening.
Yes.
To our podcast. It's not
that
just
is awesome.
Not just the aunties like you and I.
Right. We got some nephews and nieces listening too.
Nieces up in
That's
here.
correct. We got the nephews and nieces listening too. I love that. Well,
don't you love that?
Yes, thank you, young cousin, young nephew. You're gonna be a nephew because you a youngin'. We love it.
He ran off so fast like a mass crusader. I didn't get to ask his name, but wherever you are, thank you, sweetheart. We love you. And thank you for being part of Cousin Nation. Yay. So, girl, that's the extent of my wind down. Now, please start, because so many things to ask you about. First, I want you to ask about something really quick.
Yes.
And that is the photograph that you sent me of you and Cardi B.
Okay, I have two wind downs. Okay, wind down number one. Okay, wind down number one. Wind down number one. Okay, and both of the wind downs are about the Joy Reid Show, which is my other project in addition to doing this wonderful podcast, Read This, Read That. And big ups to all of our 60,000 cousins. Thank you all for joining Cousin Nation. We love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are making us succeed. We are so excited. Okay, so let me make sure I say that. But yeah, so for the other show, we've been on a media tour. We're doing this, sort of second round of launch media, because we launched the show on June 9th, but we've just been doing
launch.
So that was the soft launch, but our official it's really a 3-month rollout that we've been doing with the podcast. So in this leg, we were doing a whole New York leg. I sat in with Angela Yee. I co-hosted her show. Big ups to Angela Yee, who's amazing. And she says hello to my soror sister, cousin friend Jackie Reed. She's awesome. I love Angela Yee. I think she's fantastic. But I got to co-host with her. We did a USA Today show, which was a lot of fun. And then, of course, we had to close out the media day with doing an interview with our mutual friend, Bevy Smith, the great Bevy. And so, as we know, Bevy does her show at Sirius XM. So we go up to do the interview with Bevy. Oh, actually, we did BET Talks as well. In this is the whole media circuit. We're going from place to place to place. So we end up, our big final stop is with Bevy. And, first of all, to get into Sirius XM, you have to almost give a lung, a pint of blood, and, 80 pieces of ID. It's insane to get in there. So we get into USA Today to do this interview with Bevy. We do, and we see that Cardi B is sitting it's like a fishbowl. When you first walk in, there's a big fishbowl where like the big star who's doing an interview of the day sits in there, and they do their interview so everyone can see them, but no one can get to them. So we see Cardi B sitting there. On the way out, Cardi B is now standing outside in the hall doing doing pictures with fans. She's set up almost like how the president and first lady are set up when you go to the White House, and it's like a receiving line. So I'm passing, I'm like, oh, I'm really trying to get the daughter to get a picture. But she's like, no, you're the one who should take the picture. Da, da, da. So I'm now set up because I'm, somebody somewhat known, not like Cardi B. But they're ushering me to get in, but they're like, let's let some of the fans go first, but then we'll usher you in to go get the interview. As I'm walking toward her, I can see her looking at the side of my eye as people are asking me for selfies. Okay, they weren't real. They weren't in the cousin nation where they were like, no. They were like, yeah, we want the selfie, including one soror who was very big, beautiful, tall soror. She was like, please, 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 can I have a selfie with you? So we're maneuvering to try to get a selfie for me and her while I'm trying to get towards Cardi B. And she's looking at me like, who the hell is that? And then a big tall man is like, oh my God, Joy, can I please get a selfie? I'm like, sure. But I'm trying to get closer to get the selfie and get out of the way so that the fans can get back in.
Right.
I finally get up to Cardi B. First of all, she's tiny. She's like 4 feet tall. So I'm standing next to Cardi. And I'm like, and of course, Adrian, our friend Adrian, who is the co-EP of the Joy Reid Show, is like, make sure you ask her for an interview. I'm like, I have all these assignments. So I get closer and I say, hey, Cardi, I'm a big fan. My name's Joy Reid. I used to be with MSNBC. I'm now doing a podcast called The Joy Reid Show. Would love to have you on. So I'm trying to say all this as they're maneuvering me to stand for the picture. Right. She's literally like, oh, okay, well, you know, people really have to pay attention to the news. And I was like, she says it never. She's adorable. She was like, people have to really pay attention to the news. I was like, they really do need to pay attention. She's so cute. And so I take the picture and I bounce. That picture is now in page 6 because, of course, Adrian sent it to the guys at page 6. So I'm trying to get my hands on a page 6 because this lady, Cardi B, had no idea who the hell I was, had no clue. She's like, I don't know why I'm taking a picture with you. But she was super nice. She was very kind, very friendly. But she was like, who the fuck is this? And why is she in my photo line interrupting my shit to take a picture with me? And why does she want me to be on her show? So Cardi B, if you're listening, if somebody sends you a clip, thank you for taking a photo with me. I'm very proud of this photo that I got. I'm a big fan, actually, of your music. I absolutely love Cardi B. So hopefully we can get her on. She actually did an interview with Gail. So she doesn't know who Gail is. So it's just one step from Gail to Joy. I'm the other person besides Gail, who's a Black woman in media who you should do an interview with.
Yeah, the few that are left.
Yes. So that is part 1 of my wind down. So that is the beginning of our week.
We're going to drop that picture in here for you guys.
We will drop that picture, and it's very cute. And you can see how tiny she's, like little. She's like really, really short. So that was that. Then the next week, our next big thing, our next big mission, actually 2 days later, was to get on a plane. And, you know, Jackie always tell me I'm doing too much. I do too much. But in this case, it was worth it. We maneuvered to get an interview with, drum roll, Vice President Kamala Harris, forever Vice President Kamala Harris, who agreed to do an interview. We've been working on this for over a month, trying to maneuver our way into her book rollout schedule so that we could get an interview with her. And as it turns out, this is such a big deal for independent media. This is so important for independent media, including for this show. Read this, read that. Independent media is here, y'all. It is not coming. It's here and it's legit. We got this interview, landed this interview with Vice President Kamala Harris before she did MSNBC, before she did The View, before she did the Today Show, before she did Gayle King at CBS. We got her before any of them. The interview with Rachel Maddow aired first, but we recorded ours first. So that's why we put out our promos, because we just wanted to make it very clear. My good friend Rachel Maddow, big ups to Rachel. Her interview was excellent. It aired Monday night. But we got her first, y'all. We got her first at the Joy Reid Show. So I'm very proud. We went over to her crib in LA, and we sat down with her and did the interview. It was actually really, really great. And so big ups to the team. Angela Pashayan, Jason Reed, our crew that shot the interview, all of the folks that participated and helped make this happen. Everybody worked together. It was a great team effort. So there you go.
I love that. Okay. So I have lots of questions. Because I know you've met her before, right?
I've known her for a long time.
You were on the what is the Air Force 2 with her? Like you've been around her. You've been to the White House. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
What's her energy like now, post being vice president? You know what I mean? Because she had to be so careful, and not the interview part, but just interacting with her. Yeah. What was that like?
It's so interesting because she is very careful. I'm going to tell you she's always been very careful, but behind the scenes, she is a lot of fun. She and her sister's even more fun. By the way, Maya, and they are a trip. They are very funny. They're very laughy. They're really laughy. Like they laugh a lot. They're just joyful people. And the one change I would say I've seen in her since the election, she's still joyful. She's still very kind. She is one of the nicest people in politics that I have known, but she has a little less joy. And I feel like she is shook by the election of Donald Trump in a way that I've not seen her before. She's definitely shook by him being president, because she 100% knew and predicted and said what it would be like for him to be president. And she genuinely believed she was going to win. And so I think the shock, she said she didn't even start processing losing the election until she started writing the book. And she and her husband, she just said on The View, which aired today on the day that we're recording this, they didn't even talk about election night until she started doing the book. They couldn't deal with it. They literally kind of disassociated and just tried to deal with what's happening in the country and reacting to that, and then deciding if she was going to run for governor of California. I feel like she has emotionally disconnected from it in the last several months. Remember, we were talking on this podcast, should she be out there fighting? I think she literally went into like a dissociation process for a hot second to figure out what is happening, because she knew how bad it was going to be. So did I. Those of us who really understood what Donald Trump was going to do, really, I have to say, we're all shook. And definitely the Kamala Harris that I interviewed in LA is a little shook. And I think she's also a little shook, I will say this, by the reaction to the book. Because people like the David Axelrods, the Biden world people who are just savaging her for telling her truths, they're all over her, attacking her, basically saying she's disloyal for saying some of the things she said in the book. And she spills tea in the book now. Let's be clear. It's tea in the book. But she, of course, has a right to do that. This is her story. It's her truth, and she has a right to tell it. But I think she's letting the angry voices get to her a little bit.
Yeah. So remember, we record this on Tuesday. This is not going to air until after your interview airs.
Yes.
So what can you say about the interview that maybe surprised you the most? I'm sorry, that glare was driving me crazy. That surprised you the most or left an impression with you? What was your takeaway?
Definitely the thing that surprises me most is how loyal she remains to Joe Biden. Personally, to Joe Biden. She opens the book with the Kendrick Lamar line, "I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA." And that is what the book is. She is uber loyal to that man as a president, I think as a friend, as almost a father figure. Like, that lady is mad loyal. And the loyalty is one way. That's the thing I took from the book. It's the thing I took from the interview, even to this day.
You realize that the loyalty is one way, or is this
in the book? She does, not in the interviews. I've now watched her interview with The View. I've experienced her interview with me. She remains unflinchingly loyal to Joe Biden, and I think I am sad about that. This is not from her. This is from me. I'm a little sad about it, because I feel that she is giving herself. She's taking on too much blame herself, and she's not sharing enough blame with them. And I personally blame Joe Biden and Biden's people in many ways for where we are right now. He should have not run for re-election. And if he was, when he finally decided to run for re-election, he should have supported her more vocally. And then lastly, he should have allowed her to be the vice president she was capable of being. If for 3 years she was doing the work publicly and getting credit for the work that she was doing, because she was doing the work. I shouldn't say doing the work. She was doing incredible work as vice president. They wouldn't publicize it. They wouldn't push it out there. They would not publicly support her. If they had treated her as vice president the way Barack Obama treated Joe Biden, she'd be president right now. And I blame them. And this isn't her saying, this is me.
Or do you blame Joe Biden, or both? Like, are you separating?
Both. Okay. I think both. I think Biden's ego, and, in a lot of ways, Biden was a good president. Let me be clear. I think there were a lot of things he did that were great. The infrastructure bill, great. Leaving Build Back Better on the floor to get infrastructure, bad. Negotiating only with 10 white people, white Republicans and Democrats behind closed doors, bad. With dissing the progressives, bad. Everything about Israel, Gaza, horrible, horrible, horrible. But I think he was a good president in some ways.
Yeah.
But I think that his ego would not let him walk away as a one-term president, as he should have. His ego, he was almost Prince Charles to her Princess Di, or she was almost the Meghan Markle of this administration. If she shines, he's dimmed. If she's great, he's like Prince Charles. They couldn't let this sister shine because their egos wouldn't let them. And then the last thing I'll say is, I also blame the Democratic Party. Because I believe, just based on when you read the book, one of the things you're going to take away from it, and I definitely think everyone should read this book, is that the Democratic Party establishment would almost rather Trump win so that each of them that has ambitions to run for president would have their shot, than Kamala Harris win and be a 2-term president, and they have to push their ambitions back to 2032. Because let's just be clear. If she had won, she'd have been a 2-term president because she's young. She could have been a 2-term president, and then that would have blocked the Gavins, the Gretchen Whitmers, the whoever else wants to run, the governor of Pennsylvania. Okay, I feel, and I'm not saying any of them did it, but I'm just saying all these different people have ambitions, and all these behind the scenes people who are, working behind the scenes, they each have a favorite among that group. Josh Shapiro, all those people. So you got people back in the background that like some of these other candidates and prefer them to Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And I think that they collectively, I'm not sure they wanted her to win. I'm just being honest. And Pelosi, this is me, not her. Don't put this on her. Right? Pelosi included. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I was telling somebody yesterday. No, congratulations on getting that interview. That's a big win for the Joy Reid show, because you really just started, right? Yeah. I mean, it feels like you've been doing it for a long time, but really, you really just started. So that's a big win. I'm glad that you got it. I have seen her on some other interviews here and there. Clips are floating around. And I got to say, I'm excited to watch your interview and see how open she is. People know, if they've watched this show since we, came back for the 5th time, that I have been wanting her to be back out in the public eye beyond just promoting a book, right? I've wanted her to, like Obama's kind of inching out there and saying things against Trump. I want to see both of them in a bigger way, but they have earned the right to sit back. I still personally want to see them both, but I have to say I'm a little disappointed in how careful she is in her interviews. I mean, from what I'm hearing, I have not read this book yet, because it's not available yet, right? You can
pre-order it now, and I'm telling you, you can read it in one. I'm a slow reader. You can read it in one day. It is a page turner. She doesn't like a political thriller. She does every day, 109 days, 108. It counts down,
baby. It. But it's not readily available. If you have an interview with her, her PR team will get you a book. So I say that to say I haven't read the book, but I keep hearing it's like this tell-all and it's just tea all in it. But when she's doing interviews, I feel like she's being so careful, like she's still a candidate. It's like, listen, girl, you're not running for anything. As far as I know, she stepped away from the governors for the possibility of running for governor of California. It's like, now's the time to just say it. You say it in the book. And specifically, there were certain things, but like the Mondami, the question that Rachel asked her about endorsing this candidate for the New York mayor's race, who's very popular, and I think he's going to win. I hope he does. I love him as a candidate. I love that he pulled out of a town hall recently because it was going to be at ABC. And because it's ABC, like, I love this man, and it disappointed me that she just didn't, really embrace endorsing him. This was the opportunity to say, and she really backed down from that. And I was really disappointed about that. Like,
she's a traditional Democratic politician, very much so. And this is the one thing I saw. Carlos Greer, I talked to him earlier from Page 6, and I'm doing a few interviews about the interview. And he asked, did it seem to me that she's going to run for president? And in that interview, I actually said, I don't think so. She doesn't seem to. But now, as I think about it, I wonder if she is thinking about running again. And the reason I say that is that the carefulness and not trying to alienate Biden world, Biden donors, Biden supporters, and traditional mainline Democrats, maybe that's why. Maybe she's feeling like she needs, because one of the people that she is very kind to in the book, that surprised me, because she says Biden, she talks about Biden world a lot in the book. She never says Biden was doing these things. She says, she even gets some tea on Jill Biden, y'all. Some little low-key white lady microaggressions. Jill Biden might be a little bit of a Karen. Just saying. It's a little bit implied, which is something that I had heard, right? She confirmed that. So what I'm saying is, I wonder now, as I think about my interview, Rachel Maddow's interview, and The View. Those are the 3 that I've seen so far. I'm going to still listen to others. I do wonder if maybe she wants to run for president again, because that would be one reason why she was in one particular person named Jen O'Malley Dillon. Google that name if y'all don't know who she is. She is the person who ran the successful Biden campaign in 2020. She's the first woman to run a winning presidential campaign, other than the woman, what's her name, that used to be married to George Conway, who technically was Donald Trump's campaign manager in 2016, even though functionally she really kind of wasn't. Jen O'Malley Dillon is one of the most prolific Democratic operatives in the business. She works on almost all these Democrats. I think she goes back to Clinton, and she's gotten very, very wealthy doing this. She's sort of like a female version of David Axelrod and David Plouffe. Okay, so basically that's who she is.
Yeah.
She was a Biden person, not a Kamala person. She was Team Joe. She's the one person. There were a bunch of the Biden operatives who Kamala eventually got rid of, who I'm glad she did, who were really not for her. And as far as as a journalist, I'm saying they appeared to be kind of anti-Kamala, but they were in Biden world. She kept Jen O'Malley Dillon, who remained the chair of her campaign. She had some of her own people under her, but no one that I know, just from my journalistic point of view, has ever described Jen O'Malley Dillon to me as a Kamala person. So that surprised me. She's very kind to her in the book. That kind of tells me, I wonder if she's thinking about running again. And if she ran, she'd be running against probably Josh Shapiro, very likely, probably Gretchen Whitmer, very likely. She'd be running probably against Gavin Newsom, Pritzker, who is the billionaire governor of Illinois. He is I think they're the Hyatt fortune. He's from the Hyatt fortune, Governor Pritzker, and whoever else jumps in. So if she's running again, you might not want to alienate all these mainline operatives.
Oh my
And that's just me. Again, y'all don't put this on Kamala. I'm telling you, this is my own analyses.
But I love the way you read the tea leaves based on what's out there. I mean, you are a reliable source when it comes to these things. I know you're just speculating.
She did also say, I'll give you one other reason for it. She was asked the question I didn't have time to ask, but I'm so glad Anna Navarro asked it. She said, given what happened with Hillary and with you, do you think America will ever elect a woman president? By the way, the answer is no. But she said, yes, she thinks absolutely a woman president get elected. So she still believes in the system. She still believes a woman can get elected. She's deeply clear and very clear-eyed about what Donald Trump is. She's very aggressively anti-Trump. She might run, y'all. I don't know. Don't. And she didn't run for governor, which would put her in the middle of a governorship in 2020. Think about it. If she ran for governor in 2026, she would be 2 years into a governorship and have to abandon that governorship to run for president. Whereas Gavin is going to be finished with his governorship. You see what I'm saying? He's gone in 2026. He could then spend the next 2 years just running for president. She wouldn't be able to do that. So if she wants to run and doesn't want to look like she's abandoning the people of California, the best way to do that is don't run for governor. Hold off, build up your esteem.
Yeah. All the okay, wait. What percentage of you feels like this could happen? Like where are you on this theory?
50-50. Because I feel like there are two ways. Yes, I think I am now. The more I think about it, Jackie Reed, the more I think about it, the more I think, oh my God, she might be thinking about running for president. Because let me give you the case. I'm gonna give you my case for Kamala Harris for 2028. Okay. The case is, number one, people's regret for missing out on voting for her the first time. People's regret, particularly women, of missing out not once but twice on getting a woman president. She, in this book, gives you all the stuff she was doing as vice president that the Biden people did not uphold. She uplifts all she did on immigration and the border. She goes into what she actually was doing for those 3 years. She answers the question, what the hell this lady been doing? Remember, black people say, what's she been doing for the last 2? Baby, she answers that in the book. Yeah. So if you read this book, you're going to be like, oh, she was doing things. Biden and them just wouldn't say it. You're going to feel like the Biden people were the problem. She wasn't the problem. She distances herself from Biden in the book. She just won't do it in interviews. So she's both loyal in the camera and giving you the facts in the book. If I was going to back in the background be my own Jen O'Malley Dillon and set somebody up to be the president candidate who everybody says we should have had her, look how much better it would be if it was her, that's what I would do.
Oh my God, I am getting excited now. I forgive her for answering questions the way that she did. Okay, because
but I say that said though, Jackie Reed, this is my logical explanation for what I think and I'm not saying it is, but it may be the reason why she's this careful, but also gave that info. But here's my problem with this. Any kind of maneuvering, if this is what's happening, maybe not even by her, but maybe by her people, is very, very hard to pull off in a situation where we are in immediate crisis. To your point, the crisis is now, and I'm not sure if what the crisis calls for is careful democratic politics. What it calls for is what Mamdani is doing.
Right.
Mamdani, I think, is much better positioned to say he's a real fighter against what Trump is doing, rather than somebody who seems like they're still a traditional Democrat. And I'm not sure a traditional Democrat can get elected president in America. And I'm not sure a woman can get elected president of any race, particularly a Black woman. I don't know that this country will ever elect a woman, personally.
But let me ask you this. I'm glad you brought up Mamdani again, because, okay, you see how bold and outspoken he is, right, with his decisions. Yet the Democratic Party, right, they don't really support him.
Nope.
Right? So is she if she were as bold, if she really said everything she thought and moved strategically in a way that she, you know what I mean, was as bold as AOC, was as bold, because I know she has those thoughts, but she's very careful in interviews. When she speaks, she's very careful. Do you think, because she already didn't have the major support, now we know based on this book, and there were all kinds of speculation of that before, do you think that she's being careful because of that, because she needs that? I'm hesitant to call it a machine, but do you think that that could be a good strategy for her, to be careful at this point while she's gathering the support of, you know, the Pelosi's and the Obamas and the, you know what I mean? Or do you even need that running for 2028 president?
I think most Democrats think they do need it. And I think the carefulness has two explanations. Number one, AIPAC. Because they want these people all, for whatever reason, will not really go up against AIPAC and this foreign country, Israel. I don't understand it. But it is very clear to me that a lot of these Democrats, including Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, all of them, for whatever reason, and I think one of the reasons they won't embrace Mamdani is AIPAC, because AIPAC doesn't like him. AIPAC despises him. And I don't get it, but for whatever reason, AIPAC has a grip on American politics, and these people won't get away from it. So I think that's the first reason that you would be hesitant, right? You don't want to go up against AIPAC. And then the second one, to your point, you don't want to anger the kinds of donors who donate to Joe Biden. And so you want those Biden donors, and you want those Obama donors, and those traditional Democratic donors. To me, is this a smart way to run against a fascist? No. Would you beat a fascist this way? No.
Yeah, but don't those donors realize what's going on in this country, and they see that something has to happen differently in order to take, like I was saying to somebody yesterday, you know, buckle up, because I don't think the Democrats are prepared. And there's no third party, I'm sorry, that's going to rise up and win the presidency. It's just not going to happen. You might correct me, but I don't think so. And the Democrats just don't have their shit together to even deal with this presidency, let alone launch a campaign to beat him in 2028. I just don't see it coming together. I mean,
remember what King said about the white moderate?
Yes.
And how they are in a way more dangerous than the white conservatives.
Yes, I agree.
They prefer order. They prefer order without justice, right? Than disorder and justice.
Benefit. We're the Black and brown people are the ones who are going to suffer in this country.
That's right.
And people who aren't multimillionaires and billionaires.
That's right. And the reason that those people, those Democratic donors, the AIPAC supporters, those people, the reason they refuse to fight the way we need them to fight is that they're all right. They're going to be fine under a fascist. They think, in their view, they'll be fine under fascism, but they should ask Jimmy Kimmel, you know, because now it's been very, very clearly communicated to him. If you make Trump too angry, you're going to lose your job. Even white, rich men can lose their job. He turns on everyone eventually, right? If they could do it to Colbert and him, look what they did to, you know, let alone what they did to Karen Attiah, who is not rich, but who is a black woman who was the global affairs editor at the Washington Post, and that was unceremoniously fired by email. They didn't even call her. You know, I mean, they can do it to anyone. Black, brown, woman, high level, low level. You make it 6 figures, make it 8 figures, you make it no figures. Don't matter. Everyone's vulnerable. But these damn consultants, these Democratic consultants who lose all the elections they get involved in. I'm shocked that the only reason Biden won in 2020 is because people were so sick of Trump The reality is these Democratic donors do not understand that this is fascism. They think it's normal politics. They think they're going to win the midterms and then we're going to have an election. They just don't understand. This is not win the midterms regular politics. This is fascism. Capital FASCISM. Fascism. And they will not accept it. They want to believe that this shit is normal and that they can win with a normal candidate and normal policies. Baby, when I tell you, they are not built to beat him. He going to be here until he dies because the Democrats do not understand how to beat a fascist, period.
They're not ready. And then so many of them, you know, they can pass. You know what I mean? You know how they can pass. All they have to do is tone down their rhetoric or disappear as a critic of Trump.
Or vote for the Charlie Kirk commemoration bill that Hakeem voted for.
I told you, I've been saying on this podcast, I am done with Hakeem Jeffries. Done. I couldn't believe he voted. Taking the AIPAC money wasn't enough, but voting for this Charlie Kirk holiday or whatever that measure is, I am done with him. I'm done.
They call him AIPAC Shakur.
I know they should. Oh my God.
They're calling him AIPAC Shakur. Why? Lord, why? Jesus.
But okay. We're gonna move on to some topics, but I'm happy. I can't wait to watch the interview tonight. And I know you're going to do a post discussion after that with some folks to kind of debrief after the interview. So I'm excited.
Can I promote that too? I'm sorry. I'm just going overboard, but Don Lemon.
This will be after. This won't air till Thursday.
Oh, until after. Okay. So yes, well, if y'all watch after, Don Lemon is going to join us to wrap it up after the next day. So we're excited. Yes.
I love when you and Don get together and do things. I love it. I hope there's more of that.
Yes.
With Jim Acosta. And all, and maybe
we invited Jim too. So hopefully by the time this airs, Jim and Don will be on our Wednesday show. So we'll have all of that if happened. So we'll just pretend it happened and go, yay!
I love that. I love it. Okay. So let's get to some shit you need to know. And Joyanne brought up one of the things that we're going to talk about, and that is Jimmy Kimmel. Mm-hmm. So he was removed from air by ABC and Disney and the powers that be over at that big conglomerate company. He was removed from the air for criticizing Trump. Even though the right tried to make it about Charlie Kirk, if you listen to what he actually said, he did not criticize Charlie Kirk in any way. He criticized President Trump. And they tried to paint it like it was just, oh my God, how distasteful, how horrible for him to say something about a man who was tragically murdered. He didn't do that.
Some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish.
So they took him off the air indefinitely. We remember that. But then after some meetings between Jimmy and his lawyers and ABC and Disney and whomever, they decided to put him back on air actually tonight, the day that we're recording this. Again, this won't air until Thursday, won't post until Thursday, putting him back on the air. But Nexstar and Sinclair, who own a bunch of television stations across the country that carry ABC shows, have decided not to air his show. They're going to preempt it with some other programming, which is really interesting. But Jimmy is coming back, but I canceled my Hulu. I didn't have Disney. I don't have ESPN, but I canceled my Hulu. And I think that we should all, I don't think just because Jimmy's coming back that the situation is resolved. And I think that we have to, like we did with Target, right? Like we did with Target. Not that Target ever stepped forward and apologized or tried to make things right. I don't think that Disney, ABC, that they're trying to make things right. I think because even in their statement, which was weak AF, they didn't apologize. They made it seem like Jimmy was wrong for what he said. And he's not. So I'm happy for Jimmy. Mostly I'm happy for his team and the staff, because those are the people that really matter. You know, when you're taken off the air like that, people don't think about, and you know this all too well, Joanne, all the people that work, you know what I mean? You're all right. You know what I mean? Jimmy's going to be all right. But all those people, just the rug is swept out from under them suddenly. So I'm happy for them that they're going back. But I have to say, if Jimmy goes on air and apologizes, if he over clarifies, if he does not criticize Trump in his monologue, girl, I got a problem with it, because I'm wondering, what are the conditions? Because they wanted him to donate to Charlie Kirk's foundation. They wanted a public apology. This is what, I guess the FCC chair, maybe he didn't say that, but there were some people that he said that, girl, I'm so mad about this. Like I said, I'm happy for Jimmy, mostly his staff, but people are painting it like a win. I think you could look at it as a loss for Trump, but I don't think it's a big win, because it's about a bigger issue. It's like somebody said, and I sent this to you, I think I sent it to you today, when, you lost your show, Jimmy, Karen Atia, who's saying anything about what's happening with her, that's louder than her. She's been doing a lot of interviews, but there's no boycott. You know what I mean? Of the Washington Post. There's all these things aren't happening. So I'm happy for Jimmy and his team, but this is a bigger problem about the First Amendment and our Constitution as a country. I just don't think that we should all of a sudden, subscribe again to these media companies. We should stand firm and ride it out. But
well, I agree. And look, I already had canceled Paramount Plus after what Skydance Paramount did to Colbert, right? I'm like, I'm not going to pay you monthly. I don't even watch Paramount Plus every day. So bye-bye to that subscription. Save myself $14.95 a month. I also did cancel the Disney, ESPN, Hulu bundle that I had. I will note that also I'm BDS. I do follow BDS, which is the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions Movement against Israel. So I try to avoid any company that's on that BDS list. Disney's on that list. So happy to boycott anyway. But I canceled mine as well. And I agree with you. It is, first of all, and they brought him back on, just to be very clear, not because they felt bad about it, but because the protests were costing them money. You had a massive campaign of people who started deleting and canceling their Disney Plus and ESPN and Hulu subscriptions. From what I understand, they were losing they lost about $2 billion before it was over. It was like a 24-hour mad, immediate cancellation campaign. And so they stopped reporting their actual numbers. They stopped reporting the numbers of people who subscribe, because apparently the heat got too much. People were also physically boycotting ABC stations. And here's the reason Nexstar and Sinclair are still not going to air Jimmy Kimmel's show. Number one, Jimmy Kimmel, from what Variety was reporting, has said he's going to say whatever he's going to say and nobody's going to tell him what to do. He's not.
He said that lately?
That is what supposedly that's what came out in the negotiations. I also know somebody that actually kind of works in that world and was saying that it was always meant to be temporary. They sat him down because they were trying to figure out what to do to deal with their politics. Because let's be clear, Brendan Carr, who runs the FCC, went on a podcast, a right-wingers podcast, not a regular news show, not CNN or Fox, not even Fox. He went on a podcast and said, it'd be a shame if something happened to your little license. He said there's actions that we can take against these stations if they don't cancel him. He said Jimmy Kimmel should at minimum apologize. He said Jimmy Kimmel should give a financial donation. He tried to extort money out of Jimmy Kimmel. That's extortion. So they were messing with his First Amendment right and trying to extort him. From what I understand, his camp is saying he is not going to go out like Morning Joe and kiss the ring and fly down to Mar-a-Lago and hug Trump and kiss his ass. He's not doing that. He's not going to go have dinner with him like Bill Maher. Apparently, that is not what he's going to do. I don't know. A lot of folks are going to be watching very carefully to see what his monologue looks like, because after Colbert got word that he was being taken off the air, he came out fire, and people are expecting Jimmy Kimmel to come out and be Jimmy Kimmel. So we all going to be watching you, Jimmy, to make sure, and this will air afterwards, so we'll see how it went, and on our next show we can talk about it. And then the last thing I will say is understand that Nexstar and Sinclair still have the exact same business before Brendan Carr that they did before. And Brendan Carr has made it clear that he will use the powers of the FCC to stop the merger. Remember, Nexstar is trying to buy a bunch of stations, a bunch of ABC affiliate stations.
Heck
When
no.
y'all look at how these networks operate, right? So you have ABC, CBS, and NBC. They actually own a bunch of local stations, which are called O&Os. They don't own every station that airs like NBC News at night. Some of them are independently owned by independent operators, and some are directly owned by the company. Nexstar is one of those independent companies that owns a bunch of stations. Some of them are ABC, some of them are CBS, some of them are NBC. They want to buy a bunch of ABC ones so that they will become the one company will have 39% of the country getting ABC from its stations. That's illegal because there's actually a limit that legally is placed on what percentage of the company you can serve as an individual company. Brendan has said they can either lift the cap and say you can go above 30%, which would be make it legal, or they can get rid of the cap altogether, meaning you can own unlimited amounts of stations. One company could own enough stations to cover 90% of the country. Then we're at near monopoly at that point, right? We're going to get to the point like we were with cable, where we are with cable, where there's like 4 cable companies and they split the country up in 4s. These smaller companies like Sinclair and Nexstar want to do the same thing. They want to have one company have 40, 50% of the whole country's ABC stations. This is dangerous, y'all. That's what this Jimmy Kimmel thing is about. In order for them to get their mergers, Brendan Carr has to sign off. And Brendan Carr has made it very clear he won't sign off unless these companies stop airing shows that make Trump mad, stop airing shows where he is mocked, stop airing shows where negative news about him, 60 Minutes, is being aired. They want these networks to use their power to force these companies like the one that produces Jimmy Kimmel's show to stop him from mocking Trump. And let me tell you where they're going next. Trump has already said he wants Jimmy Fallon fired because sometimes Jimmy Fallon makes fun of him. He's already said he does not like SNL, Saturday Night Live. Guess what SNL just did? They just hired a black guy who's a comedian, who's MAGA, who voted for Trump. It begins. They're going to turn.
Is that why Ego Wodum left? Because
Probably.
a bunch of people, their contracts weren't renewed.
They're not coming back.
Was. But
Come
then
back.
she made an announcement that she wasn't going to stay on board. And there was this report that there were no black people that were going to be part of the cast.
Oh, there's a black. A Trump black. So this guy does a lot of stand-up, and he is going to be the new SNL cast member. So what's going to happen if look, Comcast, the company that I used to work for that fired my ass, they're going to clean SNL up so that SNL no longer offends Donald Trump. Donald Trump is very triggered by SNL every week mocking him. And his latest complaint about SNL is that they let Kamala be on. We actually talked about that in our interview. That they let Kamala come on. Remember, she went on with Maya Rudolph, and they both were Kamala. He was mad about it because he hasn't gotten to go on in this cycle. And so what you're going to probably see is Trump hosting SNL, Greg Gutfeld hosting SNL, and SNL skits mocking Democrats, not Republicans, and no more mockery of Trump. And if that happens, then Comcast, NBC will get to do its business. If it doesn't happen, Brendan Carr will stand in the way. That's our new reality.
See, and that is why, what was that organization? You said you're following their list of companies that are tied to Israel, BDS?
BDS. And so if you just Google BDS, which is the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions movement. Now, that is specifically about boycotting companies that either are based in Israel, particularly that are based in the occupied West Bank, because there are a bunch of companies, SodaStream, companies that you think are fine. SodaStream is based in the occupied West Bank, meaning they're illegally operating in what should be Palestine and enriching themselves off of resources that should belong to the Palestinian people. So BDS is taking companies like McDonald's. McDonald's is on the BDS list because they were providing free meals to IDF soldiers who were killing Palestinians in Gaza. And so a lot of these companies, Starbucks is on the list because they also do business with the Israeli regime. So if you want to join a modern day version of the boycott movement that took down South Africa, BDS is that movement. And by the way, BDS is illegal in several American states, including Florida, where they essentially will take action against anyone who officially is part of the BDS movement. It's crazy. They're trying to make BDS sound like it's terrorism, but it's really just you making a consumer choice not to do business with companies that do business with Israel or that are based there.
It's like BDS is Antifa.
Right. They've already declared Antifa to be a terrorist organization. And by the way, I hate to break it to y'all. Ain't no such thing as Antifa. Antifa not even real.
It doesn't
Antifa
even exist.
is not real.
It's so crazy. But
there's
they're
no
out of their
Antifa.
minds. But I brought up BDS because I think that I think that we're at a crossroads as American people. And I think we can either, Black people especially, we can either take the blue pill or we can take the red pill.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I don't remember which is which, but you need to take the one that Neo took so you can be in touch with reality, because I think that we're very comfortable in our lives.
Yes.
And I think there are two things. I think that there's a lot of us who feel like, well, my life is good. I don't have to worry about that. Right? Yeah. I didn't lose my job. I got enough money. I got my 401k. I'm good. Right? And then there are a lot of us who, are just not even we're not even aware of what's happening. Yeah. We're just, doing the latest dance and having a good time and just trying to enjoy life. I don't have time for politics.
Right.
You know what I mean? That kind of mentality. And then there are those who are just like, I see that the world is burning, but I'm just going to take this pill and pretend like it's not. And I feel like it's time for us to really take the rose-colored glasses off and see it for what it is. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had, Joanne, over this past week with sisters, right? Grown-ass sisters who just are not accepting that fascism is here. They're just like planning, vacations, and they're in the business. They're in denial about what's happening with local stations. They feel like because Jimmy Kimmel is back, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I was talking to a girl from mine this morning. She texted me, Jimmy's going to be back on tonight. I'm like, girl, this is not a time to celebrate that.
Right.
I think that we really have to make some hard decisions about how we're going to exist.
Agree. And also, by the way, Jackie, you can make these decisions that actually benefit you financially. How much money are each of us spending with a dozen different apps where you're basically paying the same amount you used to pay for cable and you're not even watching them every day? And so you could actually save yourself some money. One of the ways I've thought of looking at canceling my Paramount, I also canceled the Washington Post. This was the second time I did it. I canceled it the first time when several journalists left because of the Jeff Bezos edict that they were only going to cover, what is it, financial freedom or some other bullshit, libertarian shit that he came up with. I canceled. Then I came back in because I said, you know what? I want to support the journalists at the Post. I've canceled it again and will permanently cancel it. I canceled Amazon Prime because fuck you, Bezos. But the reality is the money I'm now going to save. You think about that. $15 here, $15 a month there, $60 a year here from my Washington Post. When you add that little bit up, if you just took that same money and gave it to an organization like the ACLU or the Legal Defense Fund, if you want to spend some money every month, maybe redirect your money there because we are in trouble, y'all. Or just put the money in the bank and don't spend it. Spend less. Spend the money I used to spend blowing hundreds of dollars in Target. I'm pocketing that money because you never know what's going to happen. And I don't need to waste my money there. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's like, listen, I want to say, read this, read that. Does not condone anybody rigging their Fire Stick to have free access to all these networks. We in no way.
And if we instruct you on how to do that, we are doing that for informational purposes only, not because we want you to do it.
I want y'all to do that now.
Pay for your shit. Don't get it for free just because, it's
like back in the day.
What's in my eye?
Girl,
I feel like something's in my eye.
Wait.
What's happening?
No, but to your point, Target, Amazon, all these guys, you may not have voted for Trump, but did you fund his candidacy?
Come on.
Are you help funding this presidency?
Don't buy that Tesla. Why are you buying a Tesla?
Listen, not just that, but all these companies that donated to Trump.
Yeah.
That
Home
are
Depot.
Uber. The guys from Uber. Like, think about it is time for us to be more conscious as consumers, right? And really look at. Now, I'm not saying, listen, if you are financially strained and the only thing next to you to grocery shop is a Walmart, and you just can't make it to across town. I'm not. Do the best that you can with this. But there are decisions that we are making day to day that is supporting this man, and it is time to stop. We saw with Target, we saw with Jimmy Kimmel that our dollars matter.
Yes,
it matters. That's the bottom line is, voting is important, but how we show up as consumers.
Yes. More important. By the way, if you all want to understand, when Emmett Till was lynched in the state of Mississippi, his killers walked free, including that heifer that's now dead, that woman who caused him to be lynched. But guess what happened to the two men who killed Emmett Till? The Milams, or the ones whose store Emmett walked into. J.W. Milam owned a store. His wife, obviously is the one who lied and claimed that
this store is
he arrested her. But because there were two kinds of white merchants in the South. There were the white merchants who sold to white people, and there were the white merchants who sold to black people. The white merchants who sold to black people were at the bottom rung of white society. They were the poorer merchants, and so they didn't sell to both, right? They sold just to blacks. That's what J.W. Milam owned. When J.W. Milam and his brother-in-law killed Emmett Till, the blacks in that community, who again were the only customers of that business, guess what they did? They didn't have the ability to march. They didn't have the ability to protest. There was no journalist that was going to give a shit about their feelings. Nobody cared that Emmett Till was killed. Nobody was going to go to prison for it. But they had the power of their dollars. And they said, you know what? Even if it's a struggle for us, because this is the closest store, we're not going in that store. Didn't no blacks go in that store. Guess what happened to that store? The store shut down. Milam guess what he wound up being? A sharecropper, because he couldn't make a living anymore at the store. The blacks who worked in the store stopped coming to work, and they were like going to threaten to lynch them if they didn't come to work. They just left town.
Yeah.
Suddenly that store dried up because blacks shopped there, white people wouldn't shop there and never went in that community anyway, because that was near the blacks. So he ended up closing his store. Both Milam and Bryant. Bryant was the owner of the store. Milam was the brother-in-law. So the Bryants were the store. The Bryants was the name of the store. The Bryants ended up being a sharecropper. Milam ended up moving to Texas to become a sharecropper farmer because he couldn't make it either. They both wound up on welfare, and one of them actually got arrested for being a welfare cheat years later because he couldn't make a living. So that little $4,000 that they got for telling their story to Life magazine was the last real money either of them ever made. They both died broke as fuck. So the reality is the blacks eventually got payback against them two murderers because they could never again make a living. They could never again prosper. The ancestors took their fucking asses out.
I love that. I'm glad you shared that. Bernie is starting up, girl.
Bernie loves me.
He's ready. He does. He's ready to march, girl.
March, Bernie.
I'm glad you told that story because listen, a lot of people, particularly black people, are like, listen, I paid my dues. I've worked hard. I want to have 5 cars, right? I want to have, 3 houses or, and that's, because there's a lot of money in our community and it all of it is not on that level. Right. But I feel like we have to say to ourselves, how much do we need? It's like with people that are billionaires, a lot of them, just don't move responsibly as citizens of the world because they're just so greedy. It's just like Elon Musk is the perfect example of that. How much money do you need? Right. One billionaire could probably solve a lot of the world's problems just by, living more economically and not having, not sending people into space for shits and giggles. You know what I mean?
Near space. They didn't actually go to space.
Well, near space, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, ask yourself, do you need that? If it's just you, how many cars do you need? How many homes do you need? And I get it. People want to enjoy their lives, but look at what's happening in this country and what we're up against. And it is our money, right? And I say that to say, not just where you're shopping, but also what are you investing in? I shouldn't say investing in, but what organizations are you supporting? What candidates are you supporting? You don't have to live in New York to support Mamdani. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You don't have to do that.
Hey,
right?
throw your Paramount and Disney money instead of that.
Yes. instead of that. But I'm just saying we need to think about what we're doing with our money, and we need to invest in not just political organizations, but social organizations that are, now that the CDC is a hot mess.
Listen.
And, who's supporting people, and, who knows what assistance the, people who don't have
Medicaid,
money
they're
for
taking their
groceries
Medicaid
and all that kind of stuff. Planned Parenthood. I mean, there's
support
so many
PBS. Support PBS. They're trying to take out PBS.
Oh, perfect example. These are the things that we have to put our money into. And I know people might
could
be
do
like,
more good, and there's so much great programming on PBS, especially if you have a child. They're trying to take out Sesame Street and replace it with this fake
oh my God, that
insanity where they say
all the lies. They tried to soften what slavery is.
Prager University, PragerU. So they want to take out PBS and replace it with PragerU cartoons that say slavery was great. So I mean, the reality is you could give money to PBS, your local PBS station, instead of Disney Paramount, instead of paying for Hulu. That $14.95 a month will go a lot farther at your local PBS station, and they have great programming. They have great programming that would really actually edify, you with truth and fairness and authenticity. You've been talking about they play a lot of great British shows that are fun and really entertaining. We have to get back to basics. We do not need to waste our money on all these apps, or think about the apps. I mean, Netflix has stuck to DEI. That's why I'm going to keep paying Netflix my money, because they stuck with us. If you're with us, then I'm with you. You know what I mean? Not going to shop at Target, but Aldi, some of these local Wegmans, companies that stuck with DEI,
Farmers Market. Go to the farmers markets, y'all.
Farmers market, buy directly from farm. There's so many things you can do. And these are if you have the means, you can make these very simple adjustments to your lifestyle that will save you money, get you fresher, better food, get you better quality merchandise. There's a woman who, I'm sad about it, she just sold out all her products at Target, a sister. She's got this beauty product, I think, that just sold out at Target. And a lot of these Black creators are still leaning into Target because they're like, F it, I'm just going to go ahead and make my money. That sister could have gone online, and I promise you she would have sold all her stuff out anyway. Look at Sacred, which is obviously it's Beyonce's, but you can't even get it, and it's through Ulta. And even if Ulta were to go bad and end up on BDS and people didn't want to get it from Ulta, I promise you people go right to sacred.com and buy it direct from her. Because
I'm mad at Beyonce and Jay-Z for
wait a minute, going to that event.
They went to this charity event that I think Jay-Z's on the board for. Like
he's on the board
they had Ivanka and her
Jared at their table.
They did.
Can I just say, I will tell you, this is from a mutual friend of ours who knows the situation. They did not choose to sit with Jared and Ivanka. That is just where they were seated. This was a charitable event.
Beyonce, you can sit where you want to sit.
No. It was a seated event where they were seated at that table. They didn't choose to sit with them. I'm just telling you, that's how it was reported to me. They're
Jay-Z and Beyonce. You mean to tell me they can't say, if I have to sit here, we're not going to stay?
I guess they could have.
Yes, they could have. No.
It's the same thing with like Oprah and Gayle hanging out with
over the Colin Kaepernick and the whole NFL thing. I'm still not cool with him over that. I love Beyonce. Yeah. She had made me mad, and she can't pay for Kamala, but I didn't like that.
But the reality is, what they say is, when you get to a certain level of wealth, everyone is in that. You're no longer that conscious, because it's hard for people to remain super conscious when you get that rich.
No, it's not. How much money do you need? Yeah. How many deals do you need? She's selling out Sacred. She didn't have to be at that thing.
Yeah, wouldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. I'm just saying, you can't get me into a room with Jared and Ivanka. They're part of the evil tree.
I'm definitely not going to sit at a table with them. No.
They still got Trump on them. They still got that Trump on. They got that Trump on. You got to get that Trump on you. You got to get that Trump off you. You got that nasty Trump on you.
I didn't like that. Now, we haven't heard from them personally about this. Like, they haven't spoken out about it, but I was disappointed. I'd love to hear why they didn't decide to walk out and leave, because these are the people who can afford to take the risk.
Yeah.
Right. Who can afford to say, I'm not like, if you're in a job, if you work at ABC, in hair, makeup, or you're a reporter with kids and you can't quit.
Yeah.
Right. because that's your livelihood. There are a lot of people that have to kind of, go along to get along so they can keep food on their table. But that's not them. That is not them.
Firm but fair.
Firm and fair. All right. Well, let's get to Bernie. Burn.
It's me.
I'm telling you, it's you.
It's me.
All right. So let's get through some quick topics and we're gonna go through these quickly because the hour has been long. Okay. So I want to quickly talk about this, and we can keep it moving because there are other topics we want to get to. Tylenol and autism. So the Trump administration yesterday, it was so funny seeing him try to pronounce acetaminophen. But they're going to encourage, I don't know how they plan to do this, and you can say more about this, Joyanne, but they're now linking Tylenol to autism.
Based on no science.
And so many people from the medical community, even around the world, are disagreeing with this. They're saying that this decision is not based on science. And my fear is, if you're not leaning into any news and all you pay attention to is Fox, because I don't call them, they're not news in my book, is Fox and online Trump stuff. So, social and stuff like that, you're going to believe, that if I have a fever, and I'm pregnant, I don't need to take anything, which can be more harmful, to your baby. So it's just bad information that's out there.
And it's based on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s heroin brainworm filled feelings. I mean, now in this stage in our, devolution as a country, the scientific, federal scientific information is based on whatever Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s conspiracy theories are. None of it is based on science. People are quitting the NIH. He is in charge of the CDC reports up to him. The head of the CDC quit because she was like, they fired her because she refused to quit because she's like, they wanted me to just ignore science on vaccines.
And she was appointed by Trump.
And she was appointed by Trump. They are anti-science. And here's the thing. We had Dr. Peter Hotez on the Joy Reid Show the other night, and he made it very clear, and he has a great new book out, which I highly recommend you get. The problem is these people want you to not believe that you should take Tylenol, so you will take these supplements they happen to sell. They want you to get off vaccines and not use vaccines and not get your children vaccinated, and then buy these special supplements they're selling you online. This is a grift. They're trying to get you to not believe your doctor and scientist, but instead believe Robert F. K. Jr., who's got this wonderful thing to sell you online.com.
And I wonder how many vaccines. I would love to see his medical records to know what vaccines he has taken, and what vaccines his wife has taken, and what vaccine his children have taken.
He claims that his kids have taken 70 some odd vaccines. It's like there are not 70 some odd vaccines.
An idiot.
Bullshit. And so the reality is, don't listen to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Don't listen to anything he says if you want to live. If you want to survive into adulthood and get and become an old person and live, don't listen to him. Take your damn vaccines. Listen to your doctor, not him. He's out of his mind, and he's trying to get you to buy supplements from these supplement hucksters.
And make sure your doctor is not MAGA, because some of them are.
Please don't go to a MAGA doctor.
I'm telling you.
Ask some questions. If your doctor's MAGA, get a new doctor.
Really quickly. There's one. This AI artist was signed to a multi-million-dollar deal. Her name is Zania Monet. And she signed a multi-million-dollar record deal. She's an AI artist created by lyricist Talisha Jones. I'm thinking that's a Black woman. But a lot of artists, SZA and Janelle Monáe, are speaking out against this. I think this is a huge problem, and it hurts all of us, no matter what industry you're in, what you and I are doing, with actors, in any type of entertainment. It's problematic. I mean, I love certain aspects of AI and we all use it to some, I'm always telling Alexa to set my alarm and do all that kind of stuff. But we have to be careful, because it really is going to end up taking over if we don't control how much we use it. And it's horrible for the environment. I mean, let's just talk
horrible for the environment. They're spewing methane into places like
Black
Memphis and all over the
community.
world, and they always choose to go near Black communities to build their superconductor because they know that AI sucks a lot of data and it sucks a lot of energy to run, and so they're putting these data centers where they can create the actual energy to run them, and they're
Yeah.
always putting them near us, near Black
Not
communities.
in Beverly Hills, not
Nope.
in Buckhead.
No, they're sickening Black communities in order to run these infrastructure. And number two, AI. If you now don't need an actual human and you can have an AI singer, that's going to put all your favorite singers out of business. If we could just have an AI version of me and Jackie, you don't need us. You all of a sudden don't need podcasters. You don't need
do in concert. Just watch a monitor.
Just watch a monitor. Are we talking?
You talk about taking pictures and getting autographs and having a meet and greet.
Over. Everything will be virtual.
Like?
And they're also talking about creating these new forms of movies and entertainment where you would type in a prompt and it would just create a movie for you. You don't have to have movie directors, writers, producers, directors. They're talking about replacing government with AI. They're talking about having AI run our nuclear facilities. They're literally talking about replacing humans with computers for every single profession you could think of. This is dangerous. I don't want to hear an AI singer. I want to hear an actual real person singing, not an AI robot. And I think this is horrible. Awful.
I think it's horrible too. I agree with you. Okay, another story in the news. I don't know if you've heard about this one. You probably have, knowing you know. The U.S. government is banning beards in the military. And the question is, are they targeting Black men? So unit commanders are being told to separate service members who can't shave their cheeks and chin for medical reasons for more than 1 year. So before they had like 3 years that they could seek medical attention and try to fix it. And if they didn't, they just could renew, whatever order they had to keep the beard. Well, a lot of Black men have a facial condition, a skin condition,
razor bumps,
ingrown hairs and different things like that. Like there's an actual name for it. It's PFB or razor bumps. It's called PFB, but it's a skin condition caused by ingrown hairs. And so they're saying, are they targeting Black men with this? And some Black men in the military are speaking out, at their own
targeting. Aren't they also targeting Muslims? Because Muslims have to grow a beard. To me, this sounds like an actual target.
For religious reasons, you can still do it.
Oh, okay.
For medical reasons that you can't, at least for now. So yeah, it's crazy. But I think they also could be targeting trans people. You know what I mean? Because a lot of women who transition to men will wear beards. Faces aren't as masculine as they want them to be. So it's interesting to me, but that's happening. Girl.
I think they're also targeting hairstyles that they're saying everyone has to have a close shaved hair, which would mean that if you had braids or dreads, you couldn't serve in the military either. But that's been a standard thing for a long time.
Yeah. Well, now they're if you're doing it for medical reasons, which a lot of Black men do.
Yeah. Well, they don't want Blacks in the military anyway. Remember, they want people who are willing to shoot other Americans in the street, and that's generally not us.
Unless you're Clarence Thomas.
Well,
or what's the guy who's this the health guy in Florida, that crazy dude.
Oh my God, Ladapo. Nigerian Dr. Ladapo. Like you're making all the Nigerians unproud.
Well, that's it, girl. We got through all our stories. I'm double checking. There's so many crazy things happening, but I cannot wait to see your Kamala interview tonight with the vice president. I hope you are right about her running for president again in 2028. I hope she has more freedom to be bolder than she has been. And I hope she really, she's got to take a different stance on Israel this time around. She just has to. She really, really has to. I don't know how.
I'm not sure she can. I don't. She's definitely better than Biden on this, for sure.
She's better. She's still, it's not good.
I think all of these politicians have got to take a giant step away from Israel. They just have to do it. It's the future, either whether it's the right or the left, are done with that country. That country spying on us, committing genocide, not listening to us, taking our weapons and using it to bomb children in schools and mosques. That ain't it, y'all. It's got to end.
It absolutely does. And I mean, I think what has happened since Trump went into office and, since October 7th last year, a lot of the bombing and things that have happened, it's just horrific. It just really is a terrible situation. I mean, it's genocide. It is what it is. There's no other way to look at it. All right. Well, that does it for this episode of Read This, Read That. We appreciate you all joining you. And thank you again, you guys, for getting us to 60K. We'd love to get to 100K by the end of this year. So please tell a friend and make sure a lot of you comment and we see your comments and we love it, but also hit the like button. So, you're helping us with our
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe and tell like 10 people to subscribe as well. Come have fun with us in Cousin Nation. You know what I didn't ask you? What are you drinking?
Oh, I finished it already. I'm drinking my favorite brand of ginger beer. And I would tell you what brand it is, but they ain't bought an ad.
With your Uncle Nearest cup.
With my Uncle Nearest glass.
Support the Black people. I am still drinking my Cycling Frog. We're going to reach out to them with my THC, which I was reading about. I got to stop with the THC. I don't drink it that much. I drink it this week, when we do the show.
Yeah.
Not this week, but on this day. That's usually when I do it for the show. Other than that, I don't mess with it too much. But I was reading about THC and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that on the. It's very addictive, I hear.
Be careful. Watch out.
All right, you guys. Listen, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and tell 10 to 20 friends to come and join the Cousin Nation here at Read This, Read That. Follow us everywhere, social media, wherever you listen or watch or get your social media, follow us, please. And do me a huge favor and follow this woman here. Just go to joyandread.com. I'm going to make it easy.
Simple.
Everything that you want from this one right here is on joyandread.com. It will direct you everywhere you need to know. Now, you're going to see a subscribe button when you first go there, but it's free.
Yeah.
Subscribe for free if you want to. If you can give her a little money if you want to, too.
It's up to you.
You don't have to. You can still have access. It's up to you.
It's up to you.
You're going to see that subscribe button, but don't feel like I don't want to move forward.
Right.
Because of that. Don't be deterred by that. Because that ain't gonna cost you nothing.
Move on through. And by the way, if you haven't been raptured yet, you can also subscribe to vegansexycool.com. Because if you're stuck here anyway, and now, you ain't got raptured,
be on here.
Since you're on the earth anyway, you might as well take good care of it.
Burn up with us.
Burn up with us, but at least you go eat good. Vegansexycool.com is where you will find all the great recipes and ideas if you want to be vegan and sexy and cool and unraptured all at once. Vegansexycool.com will give you tips. It'll give you ideas, and also it'll give you a lot of more Jackie Read. If that's not enough, Jackie, for you, if you still want more, you got Read This, Read That. You got Vegan Sexy Cool. You might as well also go to the Jackie Read experience, and you get even more Jackie because you can never have enough Jackie Read. And we appreciate you. She appreciates you. I appreciate you. But most importantly of all, Cousin Nation, like and subscribe and share to get more cousins in the door.
I gotta come up with a Rapture cocktail. Rapture cocktail.
Yeah. Girl, what's the Rapture cocktail gonna be? We gotta come up with something.
We're
here anyway.
Where you light it on fire.
Light it. Light it. Because it's the flames of hell.
That's what we need.
Wrap
it up.
But you know what that means, though? If we didn't get raptured and we're stuck down here with Trump, that means that when we've said that America is hell under Trump, we were literally accurate.
It's hell on earth.
It's hell on earth.
Hell on earth. That is what is going on right now. Damn it. Damn. And I read my Bible this morning. I'm like, what? All right, we got to figure it out. So the next rapture, I don't know when that is. So
we'll get the next one. Next one. Next round. Round 2.
Round 2. We gonna be on
number 2. We gonna be in there.
We gonna be on there. I got my ticket. Wait.
People get ready. There's a train that's coming. Don't need no baggage. You just get on board. Toot toot. If for those that are not watching, Jackie's Rapture game is unimpeachable. It's just absolutely unmatchable, unmatched. It's fabulous. She up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next time. Bye.